Well, yeah, thank you all so much for having us tonight. We're really pleased to be here. I'm Matthew Douglas May. I'm a community programs coordinator with the Center for Energy and Environment, where we work with communities and city governments to help start and implement different energy programs.
And I'm Dave Olson. I'm the commercial business development representative for Center for Energy and Environment. I work in our commercial team, specifically commercial programs, one stop and associated lighting, HVAC, kind of stuff like that. So business side.
Yeah, so I think today we'll just give an overview of the different programs and things that CEE does that can help communities achieve their energy goals. And I kind of actually wanted to start by asking you all, as a commission, if you have any goals, or the city too, any goals around energy.
We're working with the council to, I don't say relaunch, but refocus what the NPC should be doing.
Cool.
And ensure that we have appropriate direction.
Mm-hmm.
There are no current stated goals around energy use.
We are a green step city.
I don't know if that's one of the steps that you would go.
Well,
I don't remember.
if it's not, well, it's one that should be done in the future.
I think it might have, it probably is based off how many solar panels we have on our.
We're
So we
three.
could get even further. Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. Especially getting the community involved, either residents or business owners in the community as well, aside from just city buildings and.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to receive recommendations from you all on how cities could improve or whatever.
Cool.
And I think from a larger perspective, it's kind of a complementary thing, right? So we have like home improvement assistance programs for people who are trying to update or line sewers or do a variety of things. And so we're connected with you all through this too, to do the energy stuff. And so it's really more that kind of just wrap around services when it comes to just home maintenance and upgrades and kind of that long-term value add is kind of how we see this as a complementary program for some of the stuff we're already doing.
Because personally,
Cool.
my biggest concern in this city is regarding the larger buildings that may need to be upgraded. So that would be a focus of
Older
mine.
apartment buildings. Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, this is super helpful. I think we'll touch on some things throughout, and if you have any questions, shout them out. So yeah,
I don't mind being interrupted.
Yeah.
cool.
You'll be here a while then.
Yeah, we do tend to interrupt.
Yeah, that's great. So cool. So some quick background on CEE. We're a nonprofit of about 200 employees. We've grown a ton in the last 10 years or so. We were founded in 1985, and energy efficiency has kind of been our main focus the whole time. And our mission is that the Center for Energy and Environment promotes energy efficiency to strengthen the economy while improving the environment. We provide practical energy solutions for homes, businesses, and communities. That's kind of the overall vision we bring. And then these are the values that we try to bring to all the work we do.
So as a nonprofit, where does most of your funding come from?
Great question. So each of our programs are funded differently. A lot of our programs are funded through the utilities.
Okay.
So Xcel Energy and CenterPoint.
Yeah, aren't they like mandated to pay you guys if someone wants a home energy audit? And then in the homeowner pays a specific amount as well.
Yeah.
Which is now subsidized. through
Yeah.
the New tax bill.
It had, so well, if you know this, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
you,
go
but,
for it. No.
The state of Minnesota years and years ago, because the commercial team, the one-stop team, has been around since the year 2000 in terms of lighting rebates and stuff like that. We've added other programs to one stop since then. The Conservation Improvement Fund, so CIP dollars, is something that the state passed. So all utilities, all investor-owned utilities, or all utilities had to pay into a fund a certain amount of gross profit made out of their Minnesota territory, because Xcel has Colorado and CenterPoint has different states. But that fund has to go into conservation improvement, and they have to spend out of that fund yearly a certain amount towards energy efficient improvements,
Okay,
whether that's businesses, homeowners. And so a lot of those dollars, everybody who gets a bill, you pay a couple cents off of your bill every month into a general fund
Oh.
that is managed by the state. To an extent, the Public Utilities Commission. And so between PUC and collaboration with the utilities, we've managed to gain and build programs through these, contracts we sign together in terms of spending it back into the community
Hmm.
by bringing savings.
Yeah,
Would you say that your organization is funded enough? Like, do you have what you need in order to do what you want to be doing?
I think in some ways yes, in some ways no,
Okay.
like,
Okay,
so,
mixed bag.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, and I think you'll kind of get the full picture.
Our,
so.
our next slide kind of touches on how wide CE has certainly grown.
Mhm.
I've been here 6 years, Matthew's at 4.5 or
Mhm,
4.
Yeah,
And we had less than or around 80 6 years ago, and we've expanded quite a lot.
Okay.
Plenty of different departments and branches of what CE does. So that's where we're like, oh, some departments certainly do have enough, and some departments are going to continue to have to research. Our department certainly works for federal dollars, so we're looking for a Department of Energy loan or grants to
Okay.
research into further things. And then the state of Minnesota has card
yeah.
grants, which will also feed into our research. And so we have specific goals in that research, and so they're paid out of that. But profit on grants isn't to sustain the rest of the company. We have to certainly find revenue streams of some side.
Yeah, so.
If that's all confusing, you can
No.
Matthew might be able to say it even better than me.
No, that's great.
Revenue from a different source. I'm thinking about revenue from different sources
Yeah, and yeah,
and then comparing it to other sectors of the economy.
mhm,
We are a nonprofit, but we're also kind of unique in our nonprofitness as well.
Yeah.
I've run into plenty of nonprofits in my I do a lot of chamber of commerce outreach work, and so they're constantly looking for funding sources or foundational money, sort of stuff like that. And CE doesn't really do that
yeah,
at this point in time.
yeah.
We're not against it.
Yeah. But cool. So yeah, so we have a pretty big or wide array of programs and things that we do. So we have a number of programs to help homes, communities, and businesses save energy. Our research department, as Dave mentioned, does a lot of different research projects. Air source heat pumps is a big one, but kind of what are those new technologies that are going to help us save more energy and lower consumption? Our consulting department works with building owners, entire communities to achieve long-term energy savings, kind of setting goals and helping stay on track to meet those. Our policy team is active at the legislature, helping pass new legislation that's pragmatic and based in the public interest. 2 years ago, we passed the ECO Act, which was an update to the SIP policy that Dave mentioned. So now electrification can be part of that utility funded spending, whereas in the past you weren't allowed to have fuel switching be a part of that.
Yeah,
So
that's a good switch.
yeah, so that's just one example of a big win. And then our lending department, we actually work with the city of Crystal on the home improvement loan, but also energy or insulation loans, solar loans, lots of tools to help make it more possible for residents and businesses to make these improvements.
On your policy side, what type of nonprofit are you? Which isn't like a 501c3, can't do advocacy, can't do direct lobbying?
No,
Or do you have
we lobby, we have, no, we're not.
You're whatever the pay is for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know the exact designation, but
Okay.
we're not a
You're the kind that
501c3.
can lobby.
Yeah,
You're the type of.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I think
I've been telling people 501c3, but that's good to know.
Sometimes they split, so there's like, it's the same, it's like.
Yeah,
It's like a different, technically a different organization.
Right.
that
Clean
pays
water
out.
action is like that.
Fine print.
Mhm.
Good habit.
So I was just curious, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was all under the same house or,
Yeah, the funding that we get for our policy work is like it's we're able to do lobbying because of that 50c4 or whatever it is.
yeah, that's
so,
what it is, yep.
okay.
Yeah, so those are kind of our main departments. And then some of the ways that we help cities take advantage of different energy opportunities are making energy efficiency easier for residents and businesses. So helping stand up programs or just helping people become aware of existing programs and resources that are available to make it easier. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Help with engaging utilities to take advantage of all the resources that come from them through SIP. Sometimes it's hard to navigate. Sometimes setting up that utility partnership can be really beneficial. And then also help adopting local policies. If the local government wants to push the needle and
Yeah.
implement a new program, we can help with that.
The recommendations of that would be great.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Great.
Is all of that fee for service?
A lot of it is, but some of it is not. So we can kind of talk about that as we dive into the programs. So kind of the way we're gonna talk about what CE does for the rest of the time is through these 5 categories. So we have our community energy consulting team, which I'm on, partners in energy, our lending center, and then our residential and commercial programs, which are going into buildings, making those improvements happen. We'll talk about all of those now. So community energy consulting is an initiative we have to help communities of all sizes pursue energy efficient, low carbon strategies tailored to their own environmental and economic goals. And so this is kind of higher level planning support, implementation support, help with engaging residents, businesses, getting the community involved. Some of what that planning looks like is energy action planning. So helping a city set goals to meet, technical studies. For example, we worked with the city of Minneapolis last year to do an analysis on how much it would cost to weatherize and electrify all 1 to 4 unit homes in the city. And that those numbers are able to inform city policy, budgets, things like that. And then, other types of planning as well. We also do a lot of implementation of policies and then the programs that come out of those. So a couple examples are building energy benchmarking programs. That's those policies require the largest buildings in a city to report their energy use to the city. So that then you can identify the low performers and help them save energy because that's where the biggest opportunities are. So there's 5 or 6 cities across the metro that have a policy like that we help start. And then I work on implementing the city of St. Paul's benchmarking program, for example.
So is benchmarking, that kind of benchmarking more intended for cities with a large commercial presence? Or could those buildings also be apartments or things like that?
Great question. Yeah, so multifamily is definitely on the table. Usually the cutoff is a square footage threshold, so like 50,000 square feet and larger, which is usually like a grocery store or bigger. So large apartment buildings are definitely part of that, yeah. But it is a lot of offices, department stores, things like that.
In that implementation of energy benchmarking, I think I'm on the more business side of engaging with customers than cities, and business owners certainly get they're like, hold on, I have to report my energy use. And so it's more like we certainly want to bring people along with a carrot versus a stick. And I think that's our approach with building energy benchmarking implementation stuff. I mean,
And you also take a look at schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, public schools are already required to benchmark through the state. So they're kind of doing it, but they, like, for example, in St. Paul, they share their data with the city to kind of add to the data set and, you know, also help them track their energy use and improve over time. So,
We get at our place, in my house, we get a report from, I don't know if it's just the gas company or if
It's Excel does one, telling
Okay.
me, I get one from Excel,
it
telling me
might
how
be
much
both
my
then.
energy is compared to my
Mhm.
neighbors.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it's
Like
a
not
similar
yours.
principle.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, compared to the neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, here's the miles per gallon of your building. Can we help
And
make you more
here's a couple
efficient?
ways to improve,
Yeah.
and
Well, and
that's miles per gallon.
Because I had a home energy audit and have been making improvements on my home, we've been able to see the changes over time, which is actually really
You
neat.
can also see if you like swap out old appliances for new ones, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like really cool. And having a history of your energy use is the way you can track that improvement. So, yeah, some other examples of implementation work we do is energy code support, time of sale energy disclosure, which means that the sale, every time you sell a home, there is an inspection that happens in some cities, not all. And part of that inspection report would be an energy performance report. And then we do a lot of behavior change campaigns too. So I'm out tabling at events, calling people up, you know, door knocking, all kinds of things to help folks get involved in different programs. So yeah. And we do a lot of engagement on that front, and that can take a couple different forms. One is engaging internal city staff. Say a city wants to develop a new policy, like a benchmarking policy, for example. We can help facilitate the process of getting all the city staff and council members, decision makers at the table to work together through workshops and facilitation processes to create a policy that feels good to everyone and is gonna, you know, benefit the community. We we found it's best to bring everyone to the table from the beginning.
Yeah, make sure everyone knows what's up.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. No surprises at the council meeting. Yeah. Can we engage community members at events, all kinds of ways, and then engaging businesses and then utilities. How do we align the resources with the needs of the constituents? Another exciting program we're working on is Electrify Everything Minnesota. And this is an initiative to provide electrification resources to residents in partnering cities. So as you have probably experienced, the journey of electrifying your home can be pretty complicated and overwhelming. And there's tons of incentives and rebates coming down the pipeline, figuring out which contractors to work with, which project should you start with? There's all kinds of questions. So we're working with cities to get that education out to the community and also kind of be a hub for information and support.
You also work with, I'm thinking about landlords, residential property landlords. Sometimes homes aren't updated, kept up, maybe,
Because they're renting it out, so
They
they're
don't
not
care.
living in it. And they don't
Right.
care. Yeah.
Mhm.
and getting folks like that to make large investments in energy efficiency is probably a hard sell.
Yeah, there's that split incentive sometimes if the tenant's paying the energy bill, the landlord owns the home and the systems. All of our resources and education here would apply to a 1 to 4 unit. So single family to a quadplex, and outreach to rental properties can certainly be part of that. This initiative specifically is more for who is interested now. How do we get people started in this?
Yeah.
But later next year and into 2025, as more rebates and incentives are available, I think the market will broaden a lot there. But yeah, we host workshops where folks can come with their questions, learn the full scope of electrifying, do a lot of public outreach, tabling and events. We have electrify advisors who you can call and ask for which contractor should I get a bid from? I got 3 bids, which one, like, how do I make sense of the differences? And then also incentive navigation.
Now, do you also include like in older areas, upgrading the service from the pole? Cause I mean, I know in my house, we had to do that, we were like the lowest possible when we bought it.
Yeah, so upgrading your electrical panel, yeah, that's certainly part of it.
So Excel owns up to your meter.
Yeah.
At the point of the meter is where it transition over to your ownership, so. Yeah, that's.
But we had to
service
get new lines run in the whole area.
Did they bury them this time or?
Oh,
did they-
God, no, I'm at the end of the line.
Well, I mean,
so-
they would if you paid for it.
Yes.
More than happy to.
Right.
Yeah, I lose power every time it gets windy.
I was gonna say, and aren't you like one of the last?
I'm the end of the line and the last house on that grid.
Oh, wow.
So when something goes, you're the last priority.
We know very well where the one transformer is, and we flag down trucks to restore power to those 8 houses.
Oh, buddy.
And the Excel cuts the branches every 10 years, 15 years,
Trim them.
but they grow much faster than that. They should be cut much faster.
Yeah, before we upgrade or transition any more gas appliances to electrical appliances, we actually need to do something with the power line thingy, and we need a new electric box.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's,
We don't
Okay.
have
it
to.
cost me $1,800.
Oh,
that
yeah,
10
it's
years
gonna
ago.
cost, yeah, I know.
I'm saying, that's pretty good.
I think there's a program with Excel where you can call as well and say, hey, we need trimming. So if you want to add
I
a more.
do,
Oh, okay, they still wait.
they still wait.
That's fine.
My
I-
fight this year, this last
Dude,
week has been.
That's like one of the,
Yeah,
when they're in town, our phones blow up.
Um,
Because they'll trim it, they'll leave people's backyards, they'll pile it in the front yard and forget about
And
it.
they think it's you
They'll,
guys.
they'll top the tree, I mean, there's just,
Mm.
this was the
Like,
fight.
we know when they're here, let's put it that way.
Oh, they did that.
I work from home, so I kind of need internet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The hotspot on my phone is gonna work out.
CenturyLink, that one's been.
No,
Yeah,
I had to dump them. I had them for 3 months and, the service was either fantastic or non-existent. They sent several texts out, and the last text they sent out informed me that if I knew how to cable Ethernet.
I think we're off topic. Okay, sorry, we should get back.
So, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, big interest.
But yeah, so there are tons of questions, things to navigate around electrification. So it's been exciting to work on this in the recent years. And then Xcel Energy's Partners in Energy program is another program that we partner with Xcel Energy to offer. And this is a free consulting service to cities to build an energy action team, is what they call it, a group of stakeholders that create an energy action plan, setting goals, focus areas and strategies for engaging the community in achieving energy goals, such as, a certain amount of energy savings achieved per year, or this many more people participating in renewable energy. And then after that plan is created, there are 18 months of implementation support where they provide marketing, outreach, strategy, help with getting the word out to businesses, residents. We even targeting like the multifamily sector, for example, or renters, really like whoever you want to reach with opportunities and resources to save energy.
This actually sounds great because it sounds like it's a free resource, and we're such a small municipality with such a small tax base that it's hard to justify additional expenditures beyond what we're already doing. And even some of the things we're already doing are controversial. So yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Quite cranky about tax increases.
Yeah,
So
which
this is-
has happened anyway.
So this is a program through Excel.
Yeah, so Xcel Energy funds this process.
Energy.
the main,
CEE is one of the implementers.
yeah,
Yeah.
the only implementer, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
sorry.
in
Only-
Minnesota, yeah.
Yes, only implementer.
So they would, so you would essentially be paid by Excel to come in and work with the city then?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so there's,
Well, Excel is mandated to pay you to do that.
it's an agreement between
Oh.
our nonprofit and
What
Excel.
does Excel get out of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So they,
Or like
They
the city?
they reduce their profitability by writing off a donation to see.
no, it's not donation based.
Contract based and we win it every triennial.
Yeah, so what they get out of it, they're actually Excel is really excited about this because when it helps understand the community's needs better, it's also a great way to get more participation in the energy saving programs, which is a win-win. And then being able to better serve their communities is another reason.
So PR.
I know Excel brags that they're at 50% renewable energy.
Oh,
They like to reduce their carbon.
So is this something that?
they like the
community-
PR.
Have you ever, so I don't know if either of you have directly been involved with this in the community, but something that a community might tackle in tandem with like a climate action plan, like a broader planning action? 'Cause
Yeah.
this Obviously, this just tackles energy, right?
Yeah, this is just energy. New Brighton actually just
Oh.
did a energy action plan and a climate action plan at the same time.
Okay.
Where the energy action plan that came from this process was the energy section of their climate action plan.
Were you
So,
involved with the climate action plan too, or do you not? do that? Or-
just the energy
Okay.
action plan, yeah.
That was
So,
Deirdre.
yeah.
One of our community advisors. Or, I don't
Yeah,
know.
community energy facilitator.
And
yeah.
facilitator. So then they like embed in a sustainability commission. Or maybe whatever cities want to call that, and they're a resource for all of that kind of stuff. And then they stick with, like you stick with one or a couple of the facilitators through the
Yeah.
whole process.
So, yeah, if you're interested in more information, I'd recommend emailing and the Partners in Energy team can follow up.
Would
But
it be
yeah,
more appropriate for city staff to email or concerned citizens?
probably city staff,
Just
that's where the coordination
Yeah.
would happen, but
This seems like something that could be
Adam.
really interesting for. You know, the reboot of it.
mhm. Yeah, and it can help kind of give a roadmap of like,
Yeah.
what strategies are we gonna work on? What do we want to prioritize? Where does people power needed and where can it help? So. Great. Over
Yeah,
to you.
My part, my half, I suppose, if we split it up. So Home Energy Squad, which Matthew actually used to, when he first joined, that's the team he was on. But I get to talk about it a little bit because it's under the programs. I'm commercial, but I know a fair amount about residential. I run into a lot of people asking me about it. So the Home Energy Squad is a contract with Excel and Centerpoint that they are providing funds for, and then we're delivering it on their behalf. A lot of different cities have buy downs, so they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna set aside funds that any resident, it's $100 to have us come out, but cities will sometimes defray that cost, so then we're only charging their residents, $50, $80, whatever it may be.
But there is a $70 rebate with the new tax bill, right?
On
So
energy.
we're actually only
On
paying
energy
30.
outlets. Oh,
So a city could pay the rest of the 30 and it would be free for the.
is that in Minnesota or is that?
It's a.
Yeah, that's the IRA. I think it's
Okay.
like, we're trying to like figure out
Oh.
that, it's,
That's the
Okay.
federal then.
It's federal.
Okay, yes.
but you're correct, there is
Infrastructure.
funding for energy audits.
Sure, it's $70. I read a report about it.
Inflation.
Inflation reduction.
I was like, no.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
not
they-
Reduction action.
They
The
bundle
bipartisan.
lots.
Those are the two.
They bundle lots of things into that bill.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We've done a lot of research into that. Or, yeah,
Oh, for climate, for healthcare, for everything.
It was climate and healthcare, and that's what's in the bill,
Mhm.
climate and healthcare.
Right. And there's a lot of new avenues for the energy efficiency and we're definitely paying attention to that, and when that stuff is kind of getting more widespread, we've had presentations about the IRA and a couple other, I don't remember the
The
other
IIJA, yeah, the
yeah.
infrastructure bill.
Oh, okay.
Bill.
Yes, so we're trying to stay on top of that and advise people as much as possible, but we're not we haven't seen that in action yet, where we're not doing, or did you
Yeah,
get that?
Because the taxes don't happen until spring, so it would be, you would claim those savings or whatever. the
Oh,
rebates
yeah,
after
so the-
Okay.
spring.
The tax credits are available,
Yeah.
but a big part of the IRA is the rebate programs, and those are not available.
Right, they're still,
Okay.
those are still being implemented.
Sorry, I was thinking rebate plan. I was like, hold on, so I always focus on the rebate side. 'Cause that's where I come from in my world. So I was like, those aren't implemented, ready to be implemented yet, but. Yeah, so city buy downs, the in-home visits include installation of materials, IR camera, blower door tests, safety checks. And then energy advisors can continue to help with next steps. They provide a nice bundled together report of like, hey, this is our findings, this is where we think you can increase stuff. I'm imagining window panes are next. We've started on our research team moving into triple pane and its impact, and I mean, that's early. I should say. I know that we're hiring for market transformation teams and seeing what's next, so I could see that once that, much like our source heat pumps, once we've incubated it long enough, we launch it as a program or part of another program. So
Is Renewal Goodbye Anderson gonna have another line for their canvassing spiel about this?
I'm assuming, I know that we'll certainly be looking to partner with any contractors and manufacturers to make people more aware of those benefits.
I canvassed for them in college, so I still remember the like,
Nice.
yeah, doing like. Your window single pane, it just leaks out energy, but these double pane, blah, 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 window pane material.
How long does it generally take from, research to market implementation?
I'd say 3 years. I think like Robbie had the air source heat pump work, like the research being done. I want to say 2
Yeah, I feel like
years.
it totally depends.
Yeah,
On the
definitely
technology,
depends.
yeah.
It definitely depends on the technology and the breadth of whatever grants we may receive to do that research. So, I should say that's only my one experience is with our cold climate air source heat pump research. So, we were also able to grab Kelsey, a Crystal homeowner, gave us some feedback. I thought it was important to highlight we're active in Crystal and are able to help homeowners even now. So as you were able to tell us.
I live
So.
in Crystal and I have benefited immensely from.
I did it,
energy out of
sorry, I did it as well. Ultimately, it wasn't very beneficial because I learned that the house, the only recommendation was your house is too sealed. And I needed to install an air exchanger. That was the only
Air
thing.
exchanger.
So that was the only recommendation.
Oh, but what about your water heater and HVAC?
They were very efficient. They're very, I mean.
Interesting.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Is your house newer or?
No, the major appliances are newer.
Okay,
And the windows are all new as well.
the windows maybe.
Yeah.
That helps,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, it was like you put the blower door on, and it's like. Really surprised you're having 1950s house.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Do some cities have, I don't wanna say,
No.
But now I know.
introductory or new homeowner? Like a discount or something, so someone buys a house.
There-
Energy out of done right
There,
away.
a lot of realtors partner with HES to
Okay,
give a free home energy squad visit as like a welcome present. So,
cause that seems like.
Here's your to-do list.
yeah.
Well, it seems
You're trying for your champagne and your home energy.
great, well, it seems like something, someone's excited about their first house and we get a lot of first time home buyers.
Yep, that's very true.
Just by the nature of the housing stock.
Right.
So it seems like it would make sense that. Here's your 10-year plan of what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And since I do business development, I'm at 5 different chambers for CE and a few different associations. I run into a lot of people who they're like, oh, I want realtor office swapped over, so I helped them on the commercial side, but then they're also like, oh yeah, you guys run HES and I need to get contact you guys. I want to make sure I can work out, whatever that contract is. They buy it down for homeowners that buy from them. So, just a couple stats for Crystal Home Energy Squad visits over the past 3 years. 2021, we were at 41 or 40, and then he's got small. So 38, I think, and then 31 so far this year.
Sorry, alphabet soup. So I don't know what HES.
Home Energy Squad.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, all right,
Yep.
all right. And then I can read on that.
So that's going to be the number of visits.
Okay,
and
so
then,
that's what it-
our years. So 2021, we did 40 home visits in Crystal. 2022 had 38 or so,
Okay,
maybe 39. They got small for me. And then we're at 31 current year. But we'll continue to do visits up until December. There's so I'm assuming that will also
Do you
get close.
track like the percentage of housing stock in a specific given city that you visited?
Oh, what's interesting, I was just looking at some of the home energy, like so Golden Valley and Robbinsdale have done it, and they do, it's interesting some of the stuff they pull on the homes. In the city and what the makeup is.
Yes.
You guys, when you go to the home, do you kind of cross-reference that with what you're encountering?
The age of the home is a very important data point in a home energy audit. So, and it's public knowledge, the general age
Yeah.
of different
Right.
neighborhoods.
But I mean, of however many homes there are in.
So like, could you
Crystal.
drill down into that and see what the makeup was of the homes?
Oh, gotcha.
Like
Um,
of
we
the
could
31
do
you've
that.
done. 20 of them are 1960s and 10 or 70s or whatever.
Right. I think that we certainly have that data, but I don't think we're necessarily releasing that in a report at all, just because of our contract has personally PII information and we abide. I don't know how much.
None of that would be PII, but anyway.
Right. But I'm not sure how much we've
Unless you're the
certainly.
one home that was a 1980 home and they
Oh,
identified that.
yeah,
and-
I think if anything, we may do it in.
Felt it.
I don't. Well, do you know?
I think we certainly could do that analysis. I just don't know if we have.
Cause that would be useful if the city could target homes that were built during a specific time period.
Mm.
You guys should really get this done.
right.
That'd be a great question for our energy action plan. If you guys were to adopt that or work with partners in energy, I
See what you
think,
did there.
yes. They don't call me business development rep.
Oh,
for
that's what I was
anything.
thinking, like, you've dealt with enough Trump.
Another thing that we offer is the Home Energy Hub. So this is a website we put, tidbits, letters, newsletters type things, just for more resources for homeowners on what to do and how to be more efficient. I think we have this in here. Oh, wait, we do have this in here twice. That's the better slide where it has improve, health, learn, innovate. What's down the line from everything that is coming out for home energy and a good resource for any homeowner. The Lending Center has residential, commercial partnerships with different entities. On the residential side, we already have a relationship with Crystal, but yeah, home improvement, energy improvements, solar, and then even down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. So these are all programs that CE run or delivers on behalf of the city of Crystal. And then commercially, there's if you run through the one-stop efficient program, one-stop efficiency stop. Our name is too long sometimes, but that provides other comparable rates to help businesses make their energy action plan. If they want to do lights, we can make it work so that they continue paying their same amount of energy bill, but it's since you're going to see a decrease that you just maintain your payments and it helps.
I was explaining this to someone. You're talking about solar.
That could work with solar as well, but
Okay.
I was specifically talking
Talking about
commercial.
what?
Yes, but yeah, like a solar loan may be able to,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily see any it's not an additional payment. They will work so that you can actually pay your energy bill.
Right,
And then a certain amount comes to CE to pay part of that loan you had taken out.
right.
Yes,
So it feels like you're not paying a loan. It
Correct.
feels like you're just continuing to pay your electricity bill,
yes,
but you're actually paying off your solar panels. And eventually you don't have to pay that anymore.
exactly.
But would the payment for that come due when if you sold the house?
That's a question for lending. And I can certainly give you our lending contact. I don't know exactly how that would work, but
Probably.
Average,
Yes.
you'd
I would
have,
assume they do a lien.
yeah,
right.
they'd have to clear that before you can sell.
I mean,
But Jim is our lending center director and he spearheads all those relationships. So whoever here at the city has worked with them, they should know Jim and they can ask him plenty of this. I don't know the answer to that.
So on the commercial side, is it a different relationship if you're working with, say, a large national chain, let's say a Target or Cub, thinking of the large commercial buildings that are in
Yes.
that area versus a small locally owned
Yep.
commercial building?
So a lot of that, and it'll come up in another slide when we get to the commercial programs, but the one-stop efficiency program is going to only be able to work with customers under 400 kW usage.
Okay,
So that's on the shoulder months. So you're like September, October's, and you're like May and April's. So that's where they take a snapshot of your usage and that shows the true electrical usage without heating or cooling your building.
yeah,
And so that will determine if they're allowed to work, be put through the one-stop program, which is just another rebate program that Excel pays us to deliver alongside like their custom or prescriptive rebate program that all their commercial customers can
okay,
add it to. So the national chains are going to have an account manager at the Excel level interfacing with that company directly. We're kind of helping focus on that small to medium-sized business owner
okay,
that needs that little extra help or that extra care of an in-person consultant. So lending doesn't do anything that isn't ran through one stop on the commercial side. So they're not necessarily going to be working with large conglomerates. We administer programs at the lending center with the Department of Commerce, the Housing Finance Agency, utilities, and 17 metro cities, which Crystal is one of those. We also have a new homes program. That is a consultation with builders, developers, architects, and homeowners. It's building the house from the ground up with efficiency in mind. Definitely making sure that new residential properties are hitting goals that Minnesota has and other national codes. You have a question?
Do you guys partner at all with Passive House? Do you know Passive House?
Yeah, so the new homes program they do inspections to say, like, for example, does this home meet passive house requirements to get those certifications?
Cool.
So
Oh, wait, is it listed on there?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're right at the bottom. Nope, it's fine.
Okay.
We certify single multifamily new homes for all of these rating systems. EPA, home energy rating system, the residential energy code, Department of Energy.
do we have energy requirements for new homes in Bristol?
I think you put in your normal building code.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the new homes. Phil Anderson is still running that, I believe. So again, not exactly my department, but I know who to connect you with if you have any further questions on it. But this is kind of my bread and butter, the commercial programs, the one-stop efficiency shop. We do free energy consulting for businesses, cities, county buildings, anybody that fits in our overarching, 400 kW ceiling. We'd certainly love to come out, count your light bulbs, make recommendations.
So I'm curious, how do you work with, say, I'm just thinking like the strip mall that's at 36th and Douglas. Do you work with the landlord or the individual? Because the individual shops are renting from an overarching
Right.
landlord.
So with a situation like that, it would be almost like a twofold approach. A lot of those businesses it depends on how the business owner, the building owner kind of separates that out. Some building owners keep the utilities in their name,
Mhm.
and then they just charge their tenants per square footage of whatever that is. some building owners say, look, you have to, it's every suite is separately metered and they have to sign up as, the tenant and they're, signed up with Excel as
Okay.
that. So whatever that name on the record is who we would like to, involve in the decision making. So a lot of times I'll run into businesses where I'm doing door knocking. They're like, yeah, I pay this bill, but I'm not gonna make any
Well, they
changes.
can't make any of the huge improvements or.
Right, although some people we do offer, where we're like, hey, look, if you have a long-term lease signed up, a 5 or a 10-year, you can be cash positive with a lot of the lighting updates within like 2.5 years, 3 years. So even if you're like, look, you know what, I'm locked in, I'm here for another 10 years, we can get homeowner or business owners are going to see those benefits because they're the one paying their energy bill and they're gonna see that
But
decrease in
Probably not
fixed costs.
HVAC thing like that.
We also have an HVAC program. The lighting is a lot more mature. It's been running since 2000, but we've been running an HVAC program since 2020.
Okay.
And so that's just getting off the ground. It's building. The rebates are not as robust as it would be for lighting upgrades. And HVAC is harder to get into because people notice bad lighting and it's a lot more of a visual and people want their businesses cold when they want them cold and hot when they want them hot. And it's harder to say, look, if you can run this more efficiently, you can extend the lifetime of that equipment. You can make sure that you're not you can almost plan your maintenance or, when something is going to die, you can plan when to swap it out versus, oh no, it's been running incorrectly for 5 years and it just conked out in the hottest day of the year. And I have to drop a bunch of cash to cool my business. Cause it could be refrigerators. It could be any number of tenants in that building may have mission critical cooling or heating needs. So right now, so it's detailed recommendations, estimated project costs, rebates, savings, all that kind of stuff. Comes in a nice packet. We also have rebates up to the end of the year at 75%. That's kind of going to be wrapping up here in December. We're definitely our program year end is a couple weeks before actual December 31st because we submit everything to Excel for payment processing and they're going to take a few weeks to go through and actually cut the check to business owners and other people like that. So those rebates will probably go back down to about 60% in the new year. There's a current bonus running that's bumping it from 60 to 75%.
Okay.
So it's harder for a city to take advantage of the 75% right now. I just wanted to call that out that it's on a limited time offer and there may be another summer bonus that we run next year. But I don't know what that may be and we have no plans of it yet. So there's convenient and attractive financing options, like I said, with lending. And then along with our HVAC program that we run where there's RTU consulting that we're able to give. We also have free smart thermostats. It's AC rewards for businesses that Excel runs. And we implement that program by however many thermostats you have in your building. We will put an Ecobee 3 in and help set it up and get, everything talking with each other correctly so that it's just signing up for that program involves letting Excel, if there's an event to be called where they need to manage the load in the summer, they may say, hey, we're going to cycle your equipment so that we can manage the load and not have to buy at exorbitant prices on the hottest day of the year. So
Go for it, we're shutting up.
they will, I think they do cool you down, like, hey, it's going to be a couple, so they cool you below what your setting is. So then they're like, hey, we're shutting it off for a couple of hours. And then as it rises and then it triggers when it goes up to like a certain amount, they're like, okay, well, we're going to turn that back on. I know that this last summer, there was for AC rewards for businesses, that program called No Events. I know commercial buildings also have saver switches. And I think there's more events called for the saver switch program versus AC rewards.
This is clever. So like that way, this way, with all of the equipment talking to one another, then it's not like pulling on the electrical grid like as much, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's really just trying to prevent demand from exceeding supply.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheating and trying
That's
to
what the
save
program
Yeah.
does, but what it provides to the business owner is the ability to do setbacks or, hey, you know what? Somebody forgot to turn down the thermostat for the weekend. Because you know what, they were cold on Friday, so they put it up at 78, and because I know everybody who has their little coolers or their heaters under their desk or their blankets, and by having an ability to have like a facility manager be able to check that and just be like, you know what, I only need it at like 65 for 3 days, and then somebody's going to come in at 7 on Monday, you can certainly have a setback set so that, you know what, we're gonna bring it up to temp starting at 6, so by 7, it's
I
exactly
have
what.
mindset like that. So does like. Do the business owners have to do like some sort of subscription in order to get the like, or in order to keep that smart thermostat running? Subscription.
Okay, so yes, signing up for the AC Rewards program, it's a free installation provided by CE. It's a free smart thermostat, and then it's $25 bill credit annually per thermostat in the building.
Oh,
Teams
okay.
messages. Yeah, nope, that's us. So, and if you ignore events called, because you can certainly opt out of them, because it will come to like, hey, we're going to call an event, you're on the list of businesses we're calling an event for, you can opt out of that, certainly. But if you opt out of that too many times in a calendar year or over so many years, they will take you out of that program. But again, this last summer, no event was called for the AC Rewards for businesses. I can't say the same for the commercial Saver Switch program and other, HVAC programs that Excel runs.
Yeah, I'm just curious how much like privacy invasion these companies are doing and
Right.
whatnot.
No.
It's no different than your credit card and your cell phone.
And that's not good either.
That's true. Yeah. But no, we definitely think it provides the most flexibility for business owners. And as a business owner, it kind of comes with like, it's not private home ownership.
Mhm.
So I know that Excel certainly has private home ownership plan or, saver switches that go on homes and also opt-in programs for stuff like that. But I think businesses are kind of have a different idea of what, privacy is.
But I think you really hit one of the core issues, right? Is all these efficiency things require data. And so how do you navigate that two
Yeah.
things of like, I mean, I look with us with our water meters, right? Like we're paying those meters pretty regularly because we know when people are using water.
Mhm.
Care, do they not? I don't
I
know.
mean, so you
but-
know when she takes a shower, theoretically.
Well, no, we
Yeah.
would know when the water usage
Right.
is, you'd
Yeah.
infer what is going on.
Yeah.
But that could be, running the dishwasher, running a load of laundry. I mean, the energy or the water usage in that case is not necessarily pinpointed.
Right.
And utilities are going to be able to drill down to that level of granularity, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily going to release that to anybody. It certainly would be more of an aggregate form.
Oh, I'm aware of how the data collection actually works and how like you can't actually go like, oh, they're showering.
Yeah.
It's just part of an ongoing conversation I'm part of as a techie.
Yeah,
It's an important thing to think about.
absolutely. Absolutely. So the one-stop efficiency shop, that's the things we do. We certainly work with other cities, to do, business blitzes. Minnetonka has an energy action plan through the, Partners in Energy. And one of those things was making sure that business owners are aware of all the programs available to them. So we set aside a day, got our lighting consultants out in the field, and we had a set number of addresses we would go out and business blitz.
So is there a specific kind or flavor of business that has more opportunity to be more efficient? I'm thinking like warehouse versus a small flower shop.
Yes. I mean,
Where's the biggest bang for your buck?
the biggest bang for your buck is gonna be like apartment buildings with common areas and stairwells. We can't do in unit any because that's individually metered. It's considered residential, but commercial long run times. So the common areas and stairwells are 24/7. If you take away the fluorescent lighting, which may be 32 watts, and go down to, 15 is even really quite a lot of we're looking at 9.5 watts, 10 watts. Like that's kind of the sweet spot now. But if you even knock it down 15, the one-stop efficiency shop will give you dollars per watt saved versus Excel's regular programs, which would be prescriptive and custom. They're just giving you a flat fee. You can take out whatever fluorescent you have, plug in. They don't care if you say it's an LED bulb. I mean, you have to show receipts, but they're like, I don't care what wattage that's at. Here's $5 for that bulb. Where CE, the program we run, which is paid for by Xcel Energy, is to focus on that small to medium sized business and push efficiency. So we're going to want to say, look, this is the best bang for your buck. By you don't need, 3 32-watt bulbs in there, and then the fixture usage will go down by so much money, and we'll pay you we track that in our system and provide much more robust rebates than Excel does.
You don't need that light bulb making all that heat. We're not baby chickens.
Yeah.
Yes, LEDs definitely do not put off heat like fluorescents do. Definitely.
And which is where the inefficiency comes from.
Exactly. And actually it's become an issue for, because traffic lights have been swapped over to LEDs, but there's not heat being emitted from them. So they've almost iced over or frosted over in some cities.
Yeah.
It's
Very infrequent.
very infrequent. But it was funny to hear about that, where it was like, well, in the past, it was like, it just kind of was a problem that took care of itself. And now
There's some. See the light, and then you have you can put a cone on it, basically, so that doesn't happen.
Is it over the top like that?
No, that's the shield. No, it's literally like, if this is the bulb, it literally looks like a gnome hat. You put it in the front, but it's clear.
Okay, oh. So you
So-
don't notice
so
it.
what-
so there's no way to accumulate. It just kind of like,
We did that, so with part of that whole recession deal in Golden Valley, we saw 60%, 56% cost savings. Right out the gate
Oh, cool.
with that.
With energy.
Although it's weird, there's some weird things you realize, like the most efficient one is the red light, because it's on the longest. And so it's just some weird, because like the original, there's like 2 waves, one was like all the reds, the other was like yellow and greens. And so some had some and some had the other, you could just see. Like the ones that got everything, like you saw more, but that red was where the fastest
The
cost
savings,
savings
yeah.
were.
that's
That's so interesting.
So since 2000, the beginning of the lighting program, this is how we've helped Minnesota businesses. 20,000 businesses and nonprofits have upgraded their lighting, earned rebates, 110 million plus in rebates awarded. And the smart thermostat installation program has only been around since 2020, but we've already installed 2,800 plus. I have some specific crystal numbers. So 21 smart stats, we could certainly see that growing. It's just a matter of making sure businesses are
Is
aware
that
of
like
those.
this year or total?
That's total since the start of the HVAC program. Yep. And that's just commercial. This is all commercial.
It's all-
This is not homeowner. I noticed you pointed out,
Yeah, I know.
these are all commercial stats,
What they were-
right? Commercial program.
Kind of a rebate.
You did. There is residential,
Okay.
definitely. And there's plenty of resident. I used to work 6 years ago. I did rebates for Excel, and I worked on the residential rebate team.
Hmm.
So I didn't even touch any commercial rebates, but I processed your water heaters, your furnaces, your everything. And that was across all their territory. So I knew they have different programs and different levels in Colorado versus Minnesota versus Wisconsin versus North and South Dakota, Texas. All their different areas had different state defined, Public Utility Commission defined rebate levels. So I knew all of those programs to approve them. And then I moved over and now I just deal commercial. So commercial lighting and HVAC is my bag.
This is 21 smart thermostats.
Well,
in
since
com-
2021.
In commercial buildings.
In commercial buildings since 2020, I should say, not 2020.
So I'm curious in the
Okay,
difference
that's great.
between the 103 businesses and the 151 lighting projects.
So,
Assuming that some businesses have more than one location or.
right, so the 103 business school and county, that's the buildings we've helped, but businesses sometimes are like, you know what, I'm gonna do the warehouse now and we're gonna phase out, we're gonna have
Okay.
another project. Either they wait to get that check back from Excel and that feeds into their
Or
next
see what really
project.
helps.
Yeah, to see what really helps. So some are like, hey, we just need to do our office areas. That's our immediate need. We'll do warehouse next year, or we
Okay.
have budgetary constraints, certainly. Lots of schools phase out. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this wing of the building, or however they want to do that, because there's only really 3 months you can go in and do widespread changes to not disrupt the students and anything. So a lot of our contractors are like, yeah, phases work just fine. It's just a matter of us tracking those. So
Okay,
103 businesses, school and county buildings helped since 2000, and then 151 lighting projects, resulting in 280,000 plus dollars in rebates. Since we only have that dollar amount tracked since 2017, it's certainly a much more since 2000. We just don't have our statistics
okay.
before that. Correct. So that's just our impact on Crystal without any real partnership with the city, or like a full concerted effort to get your business community involved and turned on and engaged.
This all looks great. You guys have a sense of the reason why worldwide, so we're talking about acting locally, but thinking globally, right? We're still actually emitting more greenhouse gases year over year worldwide.
Oh, that's a way very
It's
complicated.
like, this is great, but this is here. I don't know if you guys have a sense of
Yeah.
what's going on. If we're doing this and saving all this,
Corporations, they're the ones doing most of the greenhouse gases and like doing things like, destroying plastic products that they made because they don't want anyone else to get them, and
Let's
fishing.
get back on topic.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I'm just saying.
well,
it's-
they're not answering.
I guess
Is it?
I love the,
is it
like,
confusing to you too, or?
act locally, think globally.
Yeah,
I think like for one example is this might be like a relatively small percentage
Right.
of the businesses in Crystal, or a
Right.
relatively
I
small
mean, do you
percentage
have
of
a
the
sense of,
households.
do you have a sense that Crystal today, compared to Crystal, say 5 years ago, are we as a city emitting fewer greenhouse
That's
gases?
something we can find out.
Or
during
not.
our energy action.
Yeah, so we actually do a full baseline energy analysis as part of that.
I just saw the Robinson one, it's quite comprehensive data analysis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So how many total business, school and county buildings are there in Bristol?
School and county.
There's a number.
More than 2.
Yeah, well, it's more than 103.
Yes, I don't think that Crystal has certainly not experienced a saturation in the market for lighting and HVAC upgrades, especially provided by One Stop. I think there's definitely an appetite in Crystal. We could see this, other cities we've partnered with, we have seen almost double the impact and since partnering with cities. Even on the home energy squad, it's a doubling of visits. Even if we only work at a partnership level, and that's just having us help with newsletters or marketing emails or socials, whatever that may include. We think that we can definitely have an impact on a city's energy usage and the reduction of that.
So how often should a homeowner have the home energy audit done? Because it's not a one and done, because technology changes.
So
Your systems wear out.
I was only planning to do one.
so you're able to get a new energy audit every 3 years. You
Interesting.
can't have the home energy squad back within that time. But if you your installation was evaluated 5 years ago and you didn't do anything, you'd get the same results today.
Yeah, but if somebody had made all the improvements, but technology has improved, so a decade later, it's like, let's see what else I can do.
Or is that kind of something that maybe would be more appropriate with one of the other programs, like the Electrify Everything program? Because it's like the home energy audit is very focused on a
Setting
lot
a
of
baseline.
the actual built features of the home, like how much insulation is your attic, what's the insulation in your walls, how well sealed is your house? And whereas there's this new thing with heat pumps, or this new thing with that, or with hot water heater, tankless water heaters or something. That's probably more something along those lines. It doesn't require somebody coming out, putting a blower door on your front doors.
Yeah, yeah, another thing, if you get a home energy squad visit, you're able to call the energy advisors who can help with, like, say you got a home energy squad visit 10 years ago. Now your furnace is finally like at the end of its life. You can give them a call and say like, hey, I'm ready for quotes, like, help me out.
Yes,
That's very helpful.
So it's not like you're just dropped off.
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, there's always new things to be looking out for, and usually it's like when your equipment life is ending, that's like when you're like, okay,
Most
you
people
gotta
time to
order
make
this
replace the
stuff.
furnace, they're gonna wait until it.
Absolutely. And that's something that the residential program maintains a list of contractors that do good quality work, and we're not necessarily in the business of picking favorites or trying to steer you towards the one. Well, at least on the commercial side, I'm not an installer. I'm not going to be climbing on ladders and rewiring fixtures. I'm here to help just make recommendations and be an energy consultant to the business owner or homeowner and say, look, if you'd like help, we'll work with who, I can give you 5 lighting electricians, lighting companies. They'll give you quotes and they'll do it the way we say you should do it, which is gonna earn best bang for your buck and the most energy efficient way. And that's what we're gonna definitely push people towards, because that's where the most money is going. So Home Energy Squad certainly has installation contractors that they work with, and they're empowered to even like, hey, if you're interested, while we're out here, we'll quote this, and any one of these 5 installation companies will come out and honor our quote from the Home Energy Squad. I look at him because he was in it, and I know I just need to double check.
Yes, that is true.
If he
Yes.
glares at you.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's like,
Yeah.
but on the commercial side, I'll work with anybody, any electrician you're comfortable with, anybody you want to bring in. My father has a business that he's renting in Fridley, and he self-installed his lights. And that is just a matter of, hey, you know what? It took me 50 labor hours. This is my cost, my holistic look. It's not just an hourly wage, just kind of like whatever that total employee compensation is. And then Excel just wants to see that, hey, you know what? This is what their labor cost is. So I actually work, I do Amazon receipts, Home Depot receipts. If you buy something energy efficient, I want to give you a rebate on that. That's commercial, I should say, not.
Yeah, that's good to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of our presentation.